Prime Minister calls for revival of great Islamic civilization. Amendment bill to lower voting age to 18 passed in Dewan Negara. Well, hello and good afternoon. I'm Muhammad Amin and you're watching News on 2. Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad said it is important that Muslim countries like Malaysia, Turkey and Pakistan to pool their resources to make Islamic civilization great again. The Premier said that the Muslim world today was in a state of turmoil with nothing really substantially being done to tackle the situation.
Speaking at the joint press conference of the talks with Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan in Ankara, Turkey, Tun Dr. Mahathir pointed out that there was once a great Islamic civilization, but it was no longer the case now.
Today, of course, we cannot claim to be a great civilization. We are all oppressed, and many of us are very backward, to the point of not even being able to set up governments for our country. We have to find out why was there this decline and fall of the Muslim civilization. If we can find the reason, maybe we will then be able to prescribe the correct remedy and resuscitate the Islamic civilization which at one time amazed the whole world.
In this regard, the Premier added that there is a need to find out the reasons behind the current state of the Muslim world to be able to prescribe the correct remedy to revive the Islamic civilization. Tun Dr. Mahathir further underscored that Muslim countries should strive to be independent and be truly capable of doing everything by themselves. Earlier, Erdogan presented the Order of the Republic Medal to Tun Dr. Mahathir in recognition and appreciation of his outstanding efforts to develop Malaysia and also strengthening Malaysia-Turkey bilateral ties. The order, the second highest award in Turkey after the Order of the State, is awarded to foreign dignitaries who have ensured the development of friendly relations with the country. The last recipient of the order was then Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, Mohammed bin Nayef, in 2016.
Well, 10 days after the Constitution, the Amendment Bill 2019 to lower the voting age was passed at the Dewan Rakyat. The amendment was approved by the Dewan Negara yesterday with a 2/3 majority. The amendment drew support from 47 of the 68 Senate members, which was more than 2/3 majority required, while 24 senators took part in the debate session.
With the passing of the bill, the 15th general election will now see Malaysians aged 18 eligible to vote, as opposed to 21 before this, besides being automatically registered as voters when they turn 18. Minister in the Prime Minister's Department, Dato' Liew Vui Keong, when winding up the debate on the motion, said the process of implementation for the new voting age would require comprehensive planning and the commitment of various government agencies, the private sector, political parties and non-governmental organizations for ideas when policies and programs are drafted.
Justru tempo masa yang sesuai haruslah diberikan untuk kerajaan membuat persediaan yang teratur. Umpamanya di pihak SPR, Suruhanjaya Pilihan Raya yang mempunyai keperluan untuk mewujudkan satu sistem yang mampu mengintegrasikan data-data daripada Jabatan Pendaftaran Negara JPN, Jabatan Penjarak Malaysia, Kementerian Kesihatan Malaysia, Polis Diraja Malaysia, Angkatan Tentera Malaysia, Badan Kehakiman dan lain-lain agensi yang berkaitan perlu diberi keutamaan.
The minister further noted that the Election Commission, or EC, will continuously engage all stakeholders to ensure targeted groups are given the necessary exposure and understanding of the country's democratic process, as well as the importance of fulfilling their responsibilities.
The Ministry of Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs, KPD and HEP, warns all retailers, including sundry shop owners, not to sell the ghost smoke candy, especially to school children, or face consequent legal action and heavy penalty. Its Minister, Dr. Sri Saifuddin Nasution Ismail, said the ministry views the issue seriously and have been intensifying effort and deploying more enforcement personnel to tackle the ghost smoke candy issue.
Kementerian memandang serius kerana adanya peniaga-peniaga yang terus menjual ghost smoke ini yang menjadi tular ataupun mendapat sambutan di kalangan pelajar-pelajar sekolah yang dijual habis waktu sekolah, dijual di luar pagar sebagainya.
The minister said this after the presentation of credentials for Northern Zone Parliamentary Consumerism Coordinators in Alor Star, Kedah. Citing the Kulim raid in Kedah as an example, Datuk Seri Saifuddin noted that the ministry's enforcement team seized 108 packets of the candy worth only 54 ringgit, but the seller could face fine up to 100,000 ringgit or a jail term not exceeding 3 years or both if convicted under Section 5, Subsection 1, the Trade Descriptions Act 2011. The candy produces a smoke-like vapor, and a recent video showing children smoking it has gone viral on social media, causing much concern to parents and the authorities. Initial investigation found that the candy was an imported product with a dubious halal logo and had been in the local markets for several years, mostly sold by hawkers near school areas.
The National Water Services Commission, SPAN, and Water Supply Department have been commissioned to conduct a full audit on the current water systems in all states. Well, according to Waterland and Natural Resources Minister Dr. A. Xavier Jayakumar, the audit would focus on the current water systems and management, while at the same time identify plans and solutions in tackling any water crisis.
Kawasan mana yang kita kena bagi tumpuan dan apa rancangan kita di dalam tempoh 10 tahun ataupun 15 tahun dari sekarang dengan apa yang kita akan dapat dari data-data ini. Lepas tu kita boleh adakan satu rancangan yang straightforward, yang baik untuk kita laksanakan untuk masa depan yang akan datang.
The minister said this at the soft launch of the Malaysia International Water Convention 2019 at the federal capital. He also said at present there was no actual data on the whole ecosystem of the water industry in the states, on plans to tap underground water supply as an alternative to solve water issues in the country. Dr. Xavier said the ministry's study on the idea of tapping underground water sources was expected to be completed next year. The minister further noted that underground water could also be the source for Malaysia to cope and survive the drought season, which is expected to be longer due to climate change.
Well, the calm and quiet serenity of the Sultan Abdul Aziz Shah Airport in Subang yesterday was broken when 5 hostages were taken by a group of terrorists before being captured by the Royal Malaysia Police team. However, the scenario was part of a counter-terrorism training held at Malaysia Airports Holdings Berhad MAHB managed airports in stages over the next 4 years to further enhance safety and security.
Petaling Jaya Police Chief ACP Muhammad Zaini Chedin said the training was conducted to identify the shortcomings and to improve the level of preparedness of the related agencies when dealing with an emergency situation in the airport. Communication between the authorities and airport management team is very important when dealing with this kind of situation, according to ACP Muhammad Zaini, and they need to know what initial steps to take.
Justru itu, latihan begini akan diadakan seberapa kerap yang mungkin berdasarkan keperluan supaya kita dapat mengenal pasti semua arahan-arahan yang dikeluarkan oleh Majlis Keselamatan Negara bermula daripada 18, 20 dan 21 yang melibatkan ancaman keganasan ke atas sasaran-sasaran penting, terutamanya lapangan terbang.
The 3-hour training was conducted by MAHB with the cooperation of other agencies including the National Security Council, the Royal Malaysia Police, the Malaysian Fire and Rescue Department and the National Disaster Management Agency. It's part of a 4-day seminar and training for 350 participants from 35 agencies at the Sultan Abdul Aziz Shah Airport in Subang that began on Tuesday.
Malaysia's bonds and sukuk remain as an attractive investment asset for investors looking for value. The bond pricing agency Malaysia BPAM Chief Executive Officer Mir Ayub says returns from Malaysian bonds and sukuk remain positive compared with some other countries, which made it a better choice in terms of profit maximization.
Speaking to reporters at the launch Malaysia's first Environmental, Social and Governance or ESG bond index series in Kuala Lumpur yesterday, Mio Amri said the net returns of Malaysia's various bonds year to date range from 4.95% to 5.21%, which was higher against the inflation rate and remained positive compared to some other countries with zero or negative returns.
This positive return of 5.2%. So I believe this sentiment is sustainable as long as the global central markets are dovish due to the current US-China trade disputes.
He also noted that foreign holdings in Malaysia's sovereign bonds and sukuk as of June this year remain steady at about 37% of the total outstanding value of Malaysia's sovereign bonds and sukuk. On the ESG bond index series, he said, it convert ringgit-denominated long-term bond and sukuk classified within ESG principles and was aimed to be the first reference point for the fixed income segment.
Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Seri Dr. Wan Azizah Wan Ismail said organising the Putrajaya International Islamic Arts and Cultural Festival, also known as PIAKUF, is capable of highlighting the different aspects of Islam and at the same time ward off certain stigmas and perceptions of the religion. Well, she said certain stigmas and perceptions of the religion could lead to the term Islam being misconstrued and linked to various negative connotations that contributed to the negative perception and social prejudice of the world community against Islam.
Maka penganjuran PIAKUF ini sesungguhnya berlangsung tepat pada waktunya. Festival ini mampu menunjukkan sisi Islam yang berbeza dan sekaligus membuktikan seni dan budaya tidak pernah dipinggirkan dalam Islam. Malah seni dan budaya Islamlah yang telah membentuk peradaban dunia.
The Deputy Premier said this when launching the PIAKUF 2019, which was in its 5th edition at the Complex Perbadanan Putrajaya yesterday. By featuring Islamic culture, Datuk Seri Dr. Wan Azizah added PIAKUF could play a role in removing such a stigma through the involvement of the community from various countries, races and backgrounds to appreciate the diversity in the culture of the Islamic nations. Carrying the theme, the splendor of music and vocal of the Islamic world, PIAKUF 2019, which will be held until the 28th of July, among others, would show the significance of music and vocal as a medium of communication that links humanity to become the platform in sharing knowledge, art and culture among the Islamic nations.
Well, meanwhile, Datuk Seri Dr. Wan Azizah said the administration of the country is unaffected by the political problem in Parti Keadilan Rakyat PKR. The Deputy Premier said differing views are common in politics, but everyone is united in terms of rehabilitating the country.
Tidak ada semua yang kesamaan, tidak ada perbezaan. Namun apa yang kita kena hargai, kita mahukan atau persatuan untuk kita terus memulihkan negara kita. Dan juga pada kesan politik dan memang dalam parti kan macam tu, tapi kita satu.
Datuk Seri Dr. Wan Azizah was commenting on the feud between PKR President Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim and Deputy President Datuk Seri Muhammad Azmin Ali, triggered in the wake of a sex video implicating the Economic Affairs Minister. The Deputy Premier, who is the chairman of the PKR Advisory Council, said there is no issue of the two camps in PKR because party members fully back the president. When asked about calls by party members for Perak PKR chairman Farhaj Wafa Salvador Rizal Mubarak to be disciplined after his verbal attack of Datuk Seri Azmin, Datuk Seri Dr. Wan Azizah said the matter will be looked into by the party disciplinary board. Yesterday, the disciplinary board said it will call several individuals, including Farhaj, to explain the verbal attack soon after his release on Tuesday from police detention.
Well, Asian teams discovered their challenges for the AFC Futsal Championship 2020 qualifiers following the official draw ceremony at the AFC House in Kuala Lumpur yesterday. Well, a total of 31 member association or MAs were divided into 4 zones: East, ASEAN, West, and the combined Central and South.
For the combined Central and South zones, 12-time champions Islamic Republic of Iran were drawn in Group B alongside Kyrgyz Republic and Turkmenistan, the hosts for the AFC Futsal Championship 2020. 4-time runners-up Uzbekistan will face Tajikistan, Nepal, Afghanistan in Group A. In the East Zone, 3-time champions Japan will have Korea Republic and Macau for company in Group B, while Chinese Taipei, People's Republic of China, Mongolia and Hong Kong are in Group A. In the West Zone, Iraq, who finished 4th in 2018, will have Bahrain, United Arab Emirates, Palestine and Kuwait for company in Group A, while Lebanon, Qatar, Saudi Arabia and newcomers Oman were drawn in Group B. The ASEAN zone was not drawn on Thursday as the AFF Futsal Championship 2019 will serve as a qualifying competition for the AFC Futsal Championship Turkmenistan 2020. ASEAN powerhouse Thailand are in Group A with Myanmar, Timor-Leste and Cambodia, while Vietnam, Malaysia, Indonesia and Australia are in Group B. The tournament will be held in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam on October 21st to the 27th, with the top 3 teams qualifying for the AFC Futsal Championship Turkmenistan 2020. The 6 group winners, 2 each from West, East and the combined Central and South zones from the qualifiers will advance to the finals. They will be joined by their respective group runners-up from the Central and South zones. The 3rd team from the East zone will be decided through a playoff. The respective runners-up from the West zone will also qualify, with the 5th spot to be decided via a playoff between the 3rd place teams from the 2 groups.
And that concludes this afternoon's News on 2. In our top story, Prime Minister calls for revival of great Islamic civilization. Join us again at 7 this evening. I'm Mohammed Amin Carlos. Thanks for watching.